back?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. I think we're back. I don't know what happened. So I guess we'll call this part 2. This might end up being a short stream. I don't know how much more. A dinosaur, yeah. I've never actually seen that movie. No, I don't know. Today is just, I don't know if it's the weather. I did make sure everything was updated. I was good about that. Like I said, we had to stop for a little bit when I first started just because we need to reset the router, and usually that fixes things. Especially when it's just drawing streams like this, that usually doesn't, it's not as taxing as when I'm trying to like do a game online as well. That can slow things down. So I don't know. I'm thinking it might be the weather. It might be just the cruddy weather doing its thing again. We've eliminated everything else. Whatever's left must be a problem. I'm kind of just drawing in the basic shapes of the hops because they can get, just because of all the little layers, they get a little complicated. So I just want to make sure I get all those in before I spend 500 years drawing in individual little layers to them. There we go. So that's the hop half of a reef on the barrel. So just kind of drawing in basic shapes of our wheat, because as I said, doing plants can take a lot of detail, and right now we're just worrying about getting in there. I think I'm just going to go over this one. Black for now. Like I said, rough draft, so I'm not going to be too worried if exactly how clean things are looking, or we're just trying to get ideas down on paper. I might have to get, if I'm going to upload this to YouTube, I just figured that's, thinking about it, I might have to get some kind of editing thing, just so I can stitch the two ends of this video together. Shoot. It has been rather rainy today. I can't say that I've noticed the internet in general being kind of bad all day today, because I haven't really been, like I said, I've watched my few news things, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know. I don't know what our problem is tonight. Well, it's been an interesting evening. I don't think the internet issues have been this bad in a while. I mean, I really don't think, usually it's been solved by it's like, I'll just make sure things are updated, because, you know, Windows is waiting on an update, or the drivers are, that slows things up. Just resetting the router after a day, just because the workload can be rough on it, so sometimes just resetting it, and then we're right as rain. I never actually had it, like, go all the way down before, I don't think, not for quite a while. Because I have a little thing set to recovery. Like, if it comes back on, it'll give, like, the blue screen, and then it'll come back on. It'll restart the stream again with just that little interruption, but I haven't had it go all the way down before. Like I said, not for a while at least. I'm sure it has. I think it did it early on in the past before we really got other things kind of taken care of, but yeah, this is, I don't know. Oh, I'm losing pencils. Oh, hey, Crazy, how you doing? How have you been, friend? We are having a little bit of internet issues tonight, apparently. We had to restart after crashing, and it wouldn't recover, so... This is part dose of tonight's stream, which is going to be interesting when I try to upload this to the YouTube link. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to see about maybe doing some editing stuff so I can put the two together to make one Yeah, that happens. Like I said, I double checked. I was good about making sure everything was updated, my drivers and stuff, and we did have to stop early on before I went totally live when we were doing the countdown, because it was just it was bad, so we killed it and restarted the router, and usually that clears everything up. Usually we're good to go, especially when it's just a drawing stream. It's not a game stream, which is overtaxing the Wi-Fi or the Wi-Fi. But no, I'm thinking it might be the weather tonight, just because of how rainy and stormy it's been. Hanging in there, been in town. Sorry to hear that. Been praying for you, friend. Really have. No, you're welcome. Like I said, I'm actually glad to be back, because I'm actually mostly out of my pain from the shingles. And I'm just dealing with the itching part, which is very annoying. But no, I'm doing good. I am overjoyed that it's like it's cleared up enough I could actually enjoy the rest of Holy Week and Easter. Because I was really bummed out when I was in so much pain. I missed going to Palm Sunday. I'm like, especially out of the entire calendar, the church calendar and just the regular calendar, Holy Week has always been my one thing that is my favorite time out of the entire calendar. It even surpasses spooky time, which it should. That's how much I do love Holy Week. So. Yeah, I am too. It's fun to be able to put my arm down instead of walking around like a scarecrow because skin can't touch. No, so that's... And I was able to fully enjoy Easter Sunday. That I was excited about. It's another Thanksgiving. Something else to give thanks for. I'm getting tired. And I'm tired. So right now what we're working on, or at least what I'm trying to do between internet derping out, is Revsnugglebuns, my hubby, working on his coat of arms that he redeemed. So we kind of have the German shield, because he is German by heritage. So we have, and I have it divided, we have one half of the shield being the symbols of his pastoral office. We have the sharp sword of truth, and it's also a reference to St. Paul's shield, because each of the apostles have their own shield. So we have, especially when the Bible or a tome is paired with a sword, it very much is the sharp word of God. And then the keys of the office. Usually, when the keys of the office are portrayed as a heraldic device, they're crossed. Like they're set as an X, one against another. But because of the shape, I broke tradition and I divided them to have them on each side of the word, which I suppose is still appropriate, just not traditional in the strictest of sense. And because he also is a beer brewer, we actually have another batch of beer we need to keg later. So we have the barrel and then a wreath, a halved wreath, because one side of the wreath being wheat sheaves and the other one being hops. Trying to decide how we want to incorporate, because he's also a hunter and that's his other favorite thing. And I enjoy the meat that comes out of it. How we want to incorporate hunting. Because I didn't want to quarter it and have it be real busy and overcrowd the shield. I kind of wanted to keep it, if I was going to divide it, I kind of wanted to keep it to two halves and not go any further. Because then it's just going to get real complicated. And I could wreathe the shield itself instead of because I thought about even if I wanted to do supporters, which are, usually characters, usually either human, mythical beast, or actual animals. There'll be one on each side of the shield kind of holding it up. Those are your supporters. Usually there'll be another animal associated with the heraldic arms of the family. or if I want to just do a wreath of antlers around it. Do a wreath in lieu of supporters. I'm not sure yet. We're trying to figure out what we want to do as far as a helmet and a wreath. The wreath on the helm usually is braided fabric in the primary colors. Like if I were to do mine with as a full arms and have the helm, which would probably be the Crusader helm is what I'd go with, and the wreath, which would be like the braided fabric, it would be in red and white, because those would be my two colors on my arms. I know he wanted orange, which again is not totally traditional, but as far as modern additions of tinctures to heraldry, it actually dates back further. I think. I'd have to double check. So don't quote me on it. But I think orange actually is one that showed up, maybe like late Renaissance, Tudor, maybe in Georgian. I'm not sure. Like I said, don't quote me on it. But it is one of the more older modern. Let's play this. Oh, it's Epidemic Sound. I went ahead, and I can't remember because they have an awesome library, and I love them. I have the personal account, which is $15 a month, and it will license you their library of music to use one account per platform. So I can use it on my Twitch, on one Twitch channel, on one YouTube channel, on one Instagram, per platform. It'll license you, so you can't use the music for more than one. Like if you had 2 Twitch accounts, you can only pick one or the other. Business is way more expensive, but I think you do up to 5 or 10 per platform, but since I nowhere near that, that's way too much to keep track of anyway. How you can do that unless you were in industry. So no, that works for me. So it'll cover me as long as you link each channel per platform into your account. It will give you access to their full library to download. I have the browser up and I just play it from there. And sound effects too. I've been starting to play around with some of the sound effects and just download them and put them in some of the banner alerts. I have some sound effects for that. And so yeah, for $15 a month, that covers me. I can use their entire library of sound effects and music for my Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, if I so chose. So it's nice. It really is. The selection is really cool. Very easy to use. Like I said, I just set it playing for the browser and I'm good to go. So yeah, I definitely recommend them if you're willing to pay the $50, which is not bad, honestly, as far as monthly fees for things between games and streaming stuff. $15 really isn't bad, considering what all you get. So I've been very happy with it. And I'm dropping things again. There goes a ruler. It clanks to the ground. Lots of noise when you drop it. So I'm trying to think. I got a couple different ones. I've got lighter, and then I've got something a little more on the orange-red spectrum. So just kind of put swatches up there. We had debated, just as a kind of a funny, as a snarky little piece to add to his shield, if he wanted a helm up top, whether or not to give him the big ginormous Pope hat. Because you can, if you are of the papacy or the clergy, you can have that as your helm to sit on top of your shield. If we wanted to go more strictly traditional, it probably would be the bishops, the wide brim black hat, and there would be however many number of tiers of tassels on each side would denote what rank of bishop. I think it's like, what is it, 2 tiers? 2 tiers, which technically, I mean, some of the hierarchy names or the titles for the higher ups in the Lutheran Church kind of been Americanized. But bishop would be a very traditional title that we would still use in the Lutheran Church. So, if I was going to say anything, I'd lean more towards doing the broad brim black bishop's hat. So we're still kind of figuring it out. But that's what we're doing tonight. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on there. I think a lot of the base is done. Picking colors is going to take a little longer because there's a lot more going on here. I think while we're trying to figure out spores. So here's kind of the orangey red. Trying to figure out how to put these in order from like darkest to lightest. There's just your kind of straight orange. There's the other. Oh, okay, so that one is a little darker, I guess. I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but I think this one actually is a little darker. Should probably get there. Now the watercolor one. Yeah, which is much lighter than that one. So these kind of hang similar between these two pencils, but they're both. The other are darker reddish orange, and then base range, and then a little bit lighter. I think what we're going to do is that's going to be the orange is going to be the field for the brewery quarter. I think the field for the office, pastoral office half, shouldn't say quarter because it's not quartered. That half is going to stay white because white is traditional. When we're talking about arms of clergy, usually the field is either white or red. White for purity, red for blood of Christ. So that's usually what it is. I mean, obviously there's deviations, but I think primarily, traditionally, I'm gonna say white. White was usually the field. Then once again, going with more holy thing or clerical banners, we're going to break a heraldic rule and put metal on a metal. And what I mean by that is, because the colors you'd use are divided up between tinctures and metals. Metals are yellow, gold, and white standing in for silver. Now, normally you would not put metals on metals, or tinctures on tinctures. Tinctures being red, green, blue, black, even though, like I said earlier in the part one of the stream, black is kind of an odd one out. Black kind of dips toes into both areas at certain times. So yeah, but you see, even on, and one of the more famous examples, I think, is the banner of, like, St. Joan of Arc, when it's the white and gold fleur-de-lis. That's a rule breaker, but that's more, it's considered more of a clerical banner to have the two metals on top of each other. So I think that's what we're going to do with gold sword, gold keys, and then just do brown and red for the cross of the book. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that, I'll be honest. Like I said, I am largely self-taught. I am a lifelong student of the University of the Public Library System. So, Seal Centurion, he studied this. Like, he has actual academic official study this. You would know probably far more than me. But I enjoy it. I enjoy books and reading and academics, so that's kind of what I naturally gravitate towards. Especially history and art history. Heraldic art is pretty much a very good blend of the two, because one is dependent on the other, the artistry and the history and the purpose behind it. So I think we're going to do just shorthand filling things in.
I like it so far.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm just going to do shorthand and cross out. So yellow, the gold sword, because I think gold is a very important color. And the ribbon being thin, I can't really put X in it, so I'm just going to go ahead and color that in. Brown. It's Tuscany red, so it's a more red brown. Yeah, so this is kind of my shorthand for coloring things in, is just laying down a colored X. It's too thin to put next, just kind of put a swatch. More golden wheat. Chocolate butter ready for the ribbon. So like I said, I'm kind of leaving the white field for the clerical one. Or if you have to tell me what kind of orange would you like more, the reddish orange, your basic mid-range, or lighter one, hunter orange. So I guess that'd be mid, more than anything. Yes. And I'm dropping pencil. I'm starting to think maybe I just need like strings tied to all my stuff, so I can just like kind of fish them back. Once I inevitably drop them or they roll off the table. And like I said, because he had Revsnugglebuns, he's of German ancestry, so we're kind of going with German shield. Which I suppose is kind of my loose interpretation, because some of it is there's a couple of really kind of off-the-wall variations for the heraldic German shield. I think that really does depend on what era it's from, but like I said, since these are not official, these are not licensed, they're not recognized by the Crown of England, we can be loosey-goosey with the rules here. I still need to find a way to paint Musty's, because I would like to get his on a plaque. Now that we have his kind of... We did a first draft, but it did end up being very, very hammered out. It was very well decided. And there's very little I need to actually change. It's a couple color swap outs, but... So I'd like to see if I could find like a German shield wooden plaque and then paint it and have that as the finished one. The problem is just finding like a wooden plaque of specifically of the German heraldic shield, which like I said is kind of a very odd shape. The worst case scenario, I'll just swap that out for a basic heater shield.
Better than the French just being a white flag.
Oh. I have part French ancestry, so he does tease me a lot about that.
Are you going to include the part of me that's Persian in your work?
I know that one's. I think that would get. That one's. The more you've said, that one's like the more way off the wall one. If it is, it's going to end up looking like, if I tried to trace down all of your ancestors, it looked like the Queen of England's shield. There would just be a quilt of squares.
Persian and the Ojibwe in there.
There we go. Like I said, yours is just going to end up looking like the current arms of the Queen of England. It's just going to be a patchwork of like, oh gosh, it's not even quartered. It's not even eighths. It's just like, it's a mishmash of just everything. Oh my goodness, the official arms of the monarch is just insane. Let's see if I can pull that up actually, just because
So
I mean, there's like the state arms, and I think there's like her actual
Paladin.
arms. Hmm?
I'll have to let you know.
Yeah, I would just. I could be wrong on this too. I swear I could have remembered like. Okay, yeah, Queen Elizabeth II. So that's 8th. That's one of the more normal, and by normal, because it's 8th. And you really don't get quite that far. Okay, this is the coat of arms of the Queen Alexandria of the United Kingdom. Like, you even have shields set inside the shield. You have a little oval there, another oval inside of that. I mean, it can get the modern arms, depending on how far back they go and how far up the hierarchy they are, they can get absolutely insane. It's like, it's not even arms.
I rate myself Paladin.
Yes, I do.
It was redeemed, and so
Yes.
it shall be done.
Well, I was gonna say my throat's getting really dry. Ah, sweet one. You know, like I said, fine. I don't know if there's an example of just using like the heraldic animal head in place of a helm. I don't know. Yeah, this is probably good. The top half started out okay, but I don't know. You have to do a little more research on how the animal shape. Tried. Trying to put a stag supporter on this. Either I'm too tired, I'm too out of practice from being sick, or just this is deceptively simple in my head, and then when I try to execute it just doesn't look that great. So I may steer away from maybe doing the supporters. I may just put a wreath of antlers around it. I don't know. The wreath of antlers could look really cool, honestly. wondering too if I could, instead of like the wreath with the helmet, if I could put kind of the stole up there. Oh, that'd be cool too, because then I could have kind of the wreath of antlers go up and meet it halfway, and then you have the stole kind of going down that way. That could be very cool. Draw over my terribly wonky deer. There's apparently something very wrong with this animal. I don't think it's supporting anything. All of its support is going to holding its own self up. And just be like kind of like a fringe tassel at the end. And just the all-important little cross that's always found in the back of the stole. And when I say stole, I probably should specify this. Excuse this one, it got stained in the basement. But this is, when I talk about a pastoral stole, this is what I'm talking about. When we talk about this, this is kind of the yoke. This goes over the shoulders and hangs down in front and goes over the alb. Like I said, pardon the staining, because it had an unfortunate fate in our basement. But, so this is the pastoral stole. This kind of represents the yoke. This is the yoke of duty. And a lot of the bigger ones will have like a little cross sewn in the back. So you literally are wearing Christ on your back. So that would kind of be... Yeah, that would actually be... Ooh, I like that idea. I like that idea. I don't know if I could fit the whole chasuble. I'd be sitting against the chasuble, but it would kind of be a design where it would be like that, and then the ends would be flowing down on either side. I think I do like that idea.
I just posted the one to
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. They are very good too. They're a very small business, so their stuff is really pricey. But if you want to look at other examples of traditional Lutheran pastoral garb, and just fabric arts, traditional like religious fabric arts in general, they are excellent. They make some beautiful, beautiful stuff.
I would say 45%.
Yeah, because like I said, they are a very small operation, so it does cost them more to produce. And American made. But yeah, that's another very good source for pastors looking for wear. A lot of traditional. They do have the okay. They do have patterns. I do not know how comfortable I'd be working with some of the materials I'd have to work with. I'd be very nervous about things like silk and brocade and pricey fabrics that I would be way too stressed out about making a mistake on. So yeah, more than the wonky deer supporter, I think I do prefer, it would be more of a contemporary thing as well. Like I said, we are allowed to be a little more loosey-goosey with the rules. These are not going for official recognition or being officially registered in any capacity. These are for fun and for an art project, so I think we can be hang with the rules a little fast and loose here. But the more I think about it, the more I do like the idea of having just as kind of the wreath, having the stole in place of that. I have to pick what color though. He's always said Easter. Like a lot of times pastors, when they pass away, especially when they pass away in the office, they're buried in their white pastoral garments, alb, and usually the stole that they are buried with is red. But I know he's always, because that's the one they're ordained in, he's always said Easter, think Easter, because we look forward to the Christ's resurrection, and we will be raised from the dead as well at Easter, so in the resurrection. So we always look ahead to that. So he's always said, if anything should happen, to be buried with Easter. So they might go white and gold. As much as green would be an interesting contrast, but oh my goodness, it is almost 11:30. I was not paying attention to the time. So I think I am going to call it an evening. I think we made pretty good progress. Like I said, it's still very rough. I'm still deciding exactly how everything is going to be placed. But I think it's a pretty good start on that. Like I said, now I'm feeling much better, and there's less busyness on the calendar, getting more back into our usual regularly scheduled programs here. Part of me still wishes you just it's so odd to write out for you. Today. I believe I am going to call it an evening then. Like I said, I kind of got rid of my wonky deer. I think I'm going to go read rather than support her. That's it. I kind of would like it. If the two ends kind of intertwined, like the ends of the stole and the tips of the horns. Like I said, all kinds of ideas. I just probably a little more rest to get them back. Yes. Yes, absolutely. We will be keeping you in your prayers, crazy. Especially that, because that's a hard road to ford. really is. So no, definitely Christ's grace, Christ's wisdom with you and your doctors and your nurses and those treating you. Hopefully they, God grant them wisdom and compassion and seeing you. Yeah, and that can be hard, especially when it's, and I get it's like they don't want to push anyone into anything, because they're liable too, but a little more plain speech, even though that's always a hard one. I mean, it's never easy, I guess, on either side. Some doctors are better than others, but either one, it's always fraught with hard decisions. As always, we leave it in Christ's hands. So whatever the outcome needs to be will always be there. Rely on His grace and His mercy and His promise for us. But absolutely, we'll be keeping you, and we have been, and we will obviously very much continue to do so, keep you in your prayers. About everything that comes. I think with that,
is that prayer request that you're telling me to get over here?
It's up to you, hon. I'm not going to pastor you outside of business hours. There's no business hours.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Lord Jesus Christ, we give you thanks for the new life that has been opened to us by your glorious resurrection, that death has no power over us who are in you. We ask that you be with crazy Christ, keep him in your care. In all things, help him to make the right decisions according to what needs to be done. Help his doctors and nurses in his care, and help him in all things to put his trust in you, the true and living God, who has overcome death and given to us life. This we ask in your name.
Amen. No, you are welcome. You are most, most welcome. You are welcome. You're most welcome, friend. At the very least we can do in Christian compassion. I mean, and as always, I mean, I say the least, and sometimes it is hard because it feels like, oh, I wish I could do more, but prayer really is everything, and it's hard to sometimes we all need to be reminded of that. It's like it's something that seems so small and insignificant is really that is the main thing. It is one of the things we're even commanded to do in all things: pray, praise, and give thanks. And it's always a great comfort. It can never be underestimated how much comfort is in the fact that we trust that Christ always hears. That, lo, I am with you even to the end of the age. And we rely on that, even when it's hard, and it's hard for our sinful flesh to remember, and our distracted minds. It is still nonetheless true, and it doesn't rely on our understanding or our short human attention spans to be true. It is true. It is always a great, great comfort. So now I think with that, I am going to call it an evening. And I bid you all a very good and restful night until I see you again, probably Friday with another game stream. Hopefully starting a bit earlier. Tonight ran late because he had a meeting, and then we let the girls stay up a little bit later so they got a chance to see him after the meeting before going to bed. You too, Musty. Have a good night. And always crazy, we're going to keep you in our prayers. Always thinking about you, friend. Hopefully things go the way they're meant to. And they go well. So, wish you a very good and restful night. I'm going to chill a little bit before I get back in the mode of even falling asleep, because once again, I get so hyped. good to be back. It is good to be back doing this, and good to not be, except for the good to be over shingles for the most part, hopefully. And hopefully I've punched my sick card for the year in everything. I still laugh about my horrible luck this week. But no, you all have a very good night, and as always, much love to you all. My deep gratitude to all of you for being so good and being such a good, supportive bunch of people. Wouldn't be here doing this without any of you, really. And I'm always deeply grateful, and Christ's blessings with you all. Good night.